Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. First things first, guys, make sure you smash the like button. Let's get to 100 likes. And as always, please subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing the fact that Chelsea are now facing a week from hell thanks to the announcement of the new dates for the Arsenal and Aston Villa fixtures that had to be rearranged. We now know that Chelsea will play Arsenal and Aston Villa. Both games are going to be televised on the 23rd and the 27th of April, both 8 p.m. kickoffs. And that means that we are now tasked with a situation where we play Manchester City in the FA Cup semi-final on April 20th, 5:15 kickoff. The 23rd, we go to the Emirates, 8 p.m. And then the 27th, we go to Villa Park, 8 p.m. kickoff. Yeah, it's not what we want. It's not great for match-going fans, but I'll be totally honest. And look, I'll be honest, the Premier League this season for match-going fans, and I know match-going fans aren't the only fans that matter, but the Premier League this season has been an utter joke as a match-going supporter. Christmas Eve, Sunday 5:30 kickoff away at Sheffield United. Thursday 8:15 kickoff against Man United coming up. Saturday's 8 p.m. kickoff as well to look forward to. It's just been an absolute shambles, and it just makes things so difficult and unnecessary. And, yes, people will go on about, the likes of Gary Neville whine all day about the ills of football ownership and whatnot, American influence and all that. But of course, conveniently, these guys have got nothing to say about the role that broadcasters play in making following your football club a much worse experience. That's the reality of the situation. But it's okay for those people who work for those broadcasters because they get paid very well. They travel in style and they have a life that's a lot closer to a player's life than the average fan. So how can they possibly relate about kickoff times and about traveling to games and all this and that? That's the reality of the situation. As a match-going fan, you're having a situation where Sunday 5:30 kickoff at Sheffield United. How are fans getting back? There's going to be no trains back on a Saturday evening after that Aston Villa game. Do you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous at this point, completely and utterly ridiculous. And you've got 5:15 kickoffs at Wembley. Why is it 5:15? What's wrong with a 5 or a 5:30 or whatever it might be? Why have we got all that? I mean, look, the introduction of an 8:15 kickoff has made things infinitely worse. I mean, it shows you the direction that things are going to get worse because soon there'll be later kickoffs to cater for international markets, and this is the direction that we are unfortunately heading in for the Premier League. But yeah, look, this run of fixtures is looking difficult. The squad hopefully will get some players back after the international break, but the squad is looking thin. The squad's going to be stretched. It's 3 really, really tough games. We've still got the Spurs game to be rearranged as well. I wonder where that's going to be slotted in. And look, of course, you want to go far in the cups, and if games have to be rearranged, they have to be rearranged. But to rearrange it in a situation like that, where we're facing 3 massive games in the space of 7 days, which will be season defining in one way or another. Surely there could have been a better way of doing that. Or surely, why do all those games have to be picked for TV? What's wrong with having them as a 3 o'clock kickoff? Why has it got to be 8 p.m. on a Saturday? Is an absolute disgrace. An absolute disgrace. What is that about? Why has that happened? Broadcasters, as I said, are making a match-going fans experience much worse. It makes it so much more difficult. Aston Villa away on a Saturday, 8 p.m. No trains back, as I said. Trains back from Sheffield United. What's going to happen there? Evening kickoffs all over the gaff. I think we've only kicked off like 4 or 5 times at 3 o'clock on a Saturday this season. And the fact that we're not playing in Europe and we're still faced with those kickoff times is an absolute joke. But it does mean that, the run-in, as it were, is going to be a little bit tougher. I don't know what I was expecting the fixtures to be rearranged like. It's not necessarily the fact that they're all in the space of a week. Of course, you'd rather that wasn't the case, but why the broadcasters are just not doing us any favors whatsoever. No favours whatsoever at all. But yeah, it is what it is, people. I don't really know what we can do about it. The Spurs, as I said, Spurs has got to be rearranged, as has Brighton as well. So that would suggest that those games will go into May at some point. I don't think there's going to be any spare weekends, as it were. So yeah, there will be another 2 games that will be chucked midweek with an evening kickoff. Probably both be televised as well, making it more difficult for match-going fans of both teams. And it's just unacceptable. This whole thing where, fans are supposed to be, fans aren't treated well by the Premier League, by broadcasters. They don't care. All they care about is lining their pockets and making sure that, they're keeping sponsors happy, or they're, making it easier for bigger markets. They want to get into that US market, or let's put it on at a more convenient time for them and disregard, the life and blood of it, the people that actually are attending the matches. Yeah, it's frustrating, but we're going to have to get used to it, because this is just going to get worse and worse and worse. And I can't remember a season of following Chelsea where the kickoff times and the scheduling of matches has been so poor. But this one is right up there. It's honestly an absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace. Police aren't helping matters either. I think they're being far too heavy-handed. You look at, like, for example, Man United, Coventry in the FA Cup. That's been designated as high risk and is not allowed to kick off after 4 p.m. But Chelsea, Man City can kick off at 5:15. Is that less risk? Is that less risky than Man United versus Coventry? Like, there's a lot of things that don't add up. There's a lot of things that don't make sense. But ultimately, the broadcasters have got way too much power, and they are actively making it a much worse experience for match-going fans. And that is it's only going to get worse. That is the reality of the situation. But look, in terms of what it means for Chelsea and the fixtures, obviously, yeah, look, we've got this is what we've got coming up: Burnley, Man United, Sheffield United, and then Everton. That's rearranged, but this is where it's been rescheduled. So 5:15, we've got Man City at Wembley on the 20th. Then we've got Arsenal away on the 23rd. Then we've got Aston Villa on the 27th. And then we follow that up the following weekend with a West Ham at home. I imagine that some of these games are going to have to go in the spare midweeks in this region here. One of those games I think will go between Villa and West Ham, and the other one will probably go between Forest and Bournemouth. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't necessarily change anything. We've got Spurs and Brighton to fit in somewhere towards the end of the season. Look, we've got to play all these teams. So the fact that it comes back to back is, I guess, it's neither here nor there. But it does mean that, it's a very difficult set of circumstances. With the injuries we've got, with how stretched the squad is, there's going to have to be a lot of changes made, and we're just going to have to somehow hope for the best. But yeah, it means we're facing a tricky task. I mean, if we make the FA Cup final, I think that's the week after the season finishes, so that's not too much of an issue. But yeah, it's not the news that we were looking for when those fixtures got rearranged. It would have been nice to not have them all back to back. Nice to have a little bit more space between them. Maybe nice to have the fans treated with a bit more respect than just bowing to the needs of the broadcaster and not giving a fuck about how difficult it is for fans to get to and from games, the expense it's going to cost, whether it's hotels, trains back, or whatever it might be. And it's just, again, another kick in the face for match-going supporters, with the Premier League and the broadcasters not giving a fuck, not caring whatsoever. But look, I think what this means for Chelsea is it's going to be a difficult week coming up towards the end of next month, but the task remains the same. I think out of the 11 games that we've got left in the Premier League, to qualify for Europe, we need to be winning 7 or 8 of those games to get in the top 6, top 7. I think 7th is probably the best we can do. We're 8 points off 6th place. Look, if you can go on a bit of a run, that gap's not insurmountable. We're playing teams in and around us. We are playing Brightons, we're playing United, we're playing Villa, we're playing Spurs. So it's not insurmountable. Out of the next 4 games in the league, we've got Burnley, Sheffield United, Man United, and Everton, with 3 of those 4 games at home. We should be getting 10, 12. We should be getting 10 or 12 points from those fixtures. So that could put us in a much better position. So it's going to be interesting to see how we come through that. Hopefully we don't pick up any injuries over the international break. Hopefully we get some players back, maybe, and in Nkunku, maybe Lavia, bulk the squad up a little bit more. Maybe Levi Colwell comes back as well. Just have more options available so that we can really attack this sprint to the finish line at the end of the season with all our best tools available, which is something we've not been able to do this season. But it does make it a little bit tougher. That's going to be a really tough week. We could win all those games, or we could easily lose all those games, and it'd be an absolute disaster. But yeah, guys, that's just my thoughts on the Premier League, the scheduling, the broadcasters, and the week from hell that Chelsea will be having to face head on at the end of April. But as always, guys, smash a like on the video, subscribe if you're new around here, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. And I'll catch you in another one soon. Up the Chelsea, and peace out, people.